2022 Match6 GSL SuperTournament Season 1.
All right, welcome back. We just had ByuN go 3-0 against Dream going on to that round of 8. He's looking fantastic and says he would like to play Dark in the next round. It's kind of interesting, even though he's not super confident in his Terran vs. Zerg. But that being said, Dark versus GuMiho, I think you have to look at this and say that it is Dark favored. Dark has knocked onto the military. He's been doing fantastically. Well, I guess this last year, you know, he only won one GSL, but
I know.
GuMiho, you know, he's back from the military. It's awesome to see him back. Definitely one of the most interesting players we've ever had. But is he going to be in good enough shape to take out Dark? Is he going to be going mech against Dark here? I have so many questions, and I can't wait for them to be answered.
I think this is going to be a fun match. For GuMiho's sake, I wish that he wasn't versus Dark or Rogue. I would like to see like an Armani or another good Zerg where it's like, okay, GuMiho, show me what you got. Because one of the things about Dark and Rogue and Zergs in that league out here in Korea is the degree to which they shut down everything and anything.
Yeah.
Like all good Zergs do, where anytime you leave the base, like that was a mistake. What are you doing leaving your base against these guys? They're going to kill everything.
Sure.
That you don't get to see necessarily what the other player has, but oh, there it is. The Tal is back. The Tal Terran is here.
Yeah. He legit looks older than when he went to the military.
He's hardened, man.
I know everyone ages all the time, but like, you can really see it in some of these guys that are coming back. I'm like, oh, look at that. Yeah. GuMiho, you're a man now.
Everyone but Geraldo, yeah.
Geraldo.
Is it Geraldo? Not Geraldo. Excuse me, Geraldo.
Not Geraldo.
Sorry, guys. It's true, though. Every time I look at him on TV, I'm like, is he going to get any older? Like, I feel like he's almost the same looking guy.
Absolutely. Still got those chiseled abs and everything.
I know, man. At like 70 or whatever.
I can only hope to be like Geraldo when I get old.
Dude, yeah. This is going to be a great match, though. We're going to start this off on Hardwire here with Dark versus GuMiho. GuMiho had this style that nobody seemed to ever be able to emulate. We got to learn more about it every time we'd see him play. I don't know if he's going to be able to bring it back now, how much mech we're going to have, how much mobile mech, which is really what his signature move was. Lots of Hellions, lots of Cyclones, lots of engaging early on. But, you know, he's up against Dark, one of the all-time greats.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll see what GuMiho is going to be bringing us here. Hardwire is set number 1, Dark versus GuMiho. This is the match I'm most excited about in this whole round, so I hope it delivers.
All right, guys, game 1 is up. Our second best of 5. I can't talk right now. Starts game start. Go. Go, go, go.
Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Dark.
That's the best cutout we have, is that hatchery.
That's
skin.
right.
Storm Gaming, GuMiho.
But yeah, GuMiho, like, he actually single-handedly brought mech back against Zerg. I remember this so clearly. There was like Swarm Host basically eradicated mech, and then he kind of brought it back because he went double medevac Thor drops, and he would also make Vikings, and you couldn't really do anything against him with the Swarm Host because he could zip over, gun down Niduses, he could nail the locusts while they're flying, right? So you can't even close because he's got all this anti-air and stuff. And
right.
It was just really cool to see. I remember the game that, to me, heralded that his new style before his GSL victory and everything. He played against, I believe it was Cyril on Abyssal Reef, this one game where like he played so well with that cool new style, and obviously that became kind of his trademark for a long time, and things have progressed so far since then that, I mean, we'll see if he's going to go mech. He goes bio still, too. You know, he's really well known for mech, but he still has bio play, and it's good.
Now,
gas. That's what I want to see, boys.
That could only mean a factory. But here's a Roach Warren on 2 bases.
He's afraid. He's afraid. He's cheesing because he's afraid, and he's a coward.
I was gonna say before, and like, let's watch what GuMiho does, but let's not forget that Dark actually rushes.
Yeah.
A lot.
He does.
In this, like, he'll always do it. It seems like once in a best of 5.
Yeah.
And I think to start this off and basically send a reminder here to GuMiho, like, you know, if you're not playing safe, I will just kill you. And
Yeah.
look, this could just kill GuMiho outright. I think it probably won't, but let's see what the next few tech choices are. You know, when you get roach rushed, the damage piles up quickly. Obviously, the roaches are not a great investment in the long run, but to come in here this quickly, he does get the wall in up here. The cleaning bot stays up here to watch it all.
Yeah, this is a little bit annoying because he's making a very different looking type of wall, but he will clean this up overall. The SCVs, a couple of them end up going down. Sends them back into the main. So that makes me feel like he already is detecting silliness on its way.
Some clownery.
Little bit of clownery.
Now the Reaper's going to come up here. When you see the one roach, that's all you need to see. You know that then there's more roaches coming.
You don't think it's just a scouting roach?
Oh, there's a scouting roach coming here. That's weird.
Well, the thing is, the Reaper kills the Ling too quickly. So if you make a roach, like it doesn't die.
The roach
easily.
can tank a lot of damage and then get in there and scout.
You just don't get this game, do you, Tasteless?
The Ravagers are going to be coming up here now, and they're going to be trying to hit the vulnerable smaller buildings over here at the wall. And the depot is obviously a nice hit because you could spill into the main, but getting the add-on as well here at the barracks here, the tech lab, is also a handy hit.
Oh,
ouch.
Yeah, that's so painful.
Oh my God.
Losing that first mine. Because even the mine itself is questionable.
The mine doesn't really give you consistent damage during this. And now concussive shells are not a thing.
Yeah.
The Wallen's not going to be here.
The depot's not going to be a thing. Like that's painful, man.
He's actually going to do a run-by here. The SCV block's going to come here. I'm surprised he did the run-by.
Yeah, a little bit, right?
I kind of thought you want to stay back, make more Ravagers, and just start to pick off the bunker. So I feel like this was a bit of a mistake. I think that we just saw Dark take what was a pretty big lead and kind of trip himself up.
I think it was still good, though, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean,
well,
I guess CV count's pretty low right now.
Yeah. I thought he was going to try to stay back further and, like, you know, hit the tech lab or just kind of punish more stuff coming out here.
Yeah.
And then if you are going to run by, wait for the buildings to lift off, excuse me, and then run up through the top. But Dark can also do damage like that, and then you just stop. And back at home, you've got lots of drones. You're in you're in great shape. Artosis, do you have any tissue over there? Runny nose. Is there nothing on that side?
I have some tissues in my bag, Tasteless.
Appreciate it, Artosis. Now, GuMiho is going to try to come across the map.
Here are the tissues, Tasteless.
Thank you. I'll take the tissues now.
All right, good.
Use them to wipe my nose. Thank you.
Let it be known that I lent Tasteless some tissues. I'm
That's
going to
right.
want those back when you're done.
That's right.
All right, so making a wall here is getting a bunker up in it. Liberator coming out as well. Melee attack as well as Zergling speed. It's kind of an interesting, cool follow-up. You don't normally, like when it's a roach attack like that, normally you see like a roach ravager follow-up. The fact that he's switching immediately into Lings, I kind of like that.
Well, you see the mech units, you see the Marauders there, and you know Lings are very strong against Marauders. You know, you also aren't working. You're not working with nearly as much when you just have stuff like that. So I think the idea is pretty cool. Now, there was a wall-in setup over there, so he's not going to be able to actually get in. Meanwhile, the drop does come in here. Is there a transfuse on that queen above us? Looks like he actually fends us off basically perfectly.
Yeah.
And again, this is like a dance that we see Dark do so many times where he really isn't hemorrhaging anything. I guess, you know, we might disagree on him running into the main. He might have something mathed out where it's probably better to just try to shoot down as many SCVs or at least force them to try to surround you.
Yeah.
Maybe that actually maths out better.
Right? Yeah. Just killing the amount that he killed. He was up like 9 or 10 workers after that roach push. So, I mean, that plus all the building kills, not bad. Now, the Liberator is actually knocking down Overlords, which was definitely not what GuMiho was going for, but 2 were sitting there, so he's just going for it. I like it.
Right.
Still trying to keep some harassment going. He is going into bioplay. We'll see if he can make that work out for him after that damage early on. He is down by quite a bit of supply. Still down 10 workers. It's going to be tough, I think. Tough game.
Liberator's going to poke in again.
Look how many Overlords he's got.
Yeah, that's going to be, if he kills it, that'll be his 5th one. He's got 4 so far.
A lot of Lings out in the map. Melee is done getting that carapace now.
So he wants to take the third here. Now, there's a lot of lings. I don't see that much able to, you know, drive those lings out. And 14 more lings are being made as well. So he's really beginning to power up. You mentioned earlier that the melee upgrade's done. Also, Dark is taking a fourth base over here. So growth looking pretty good on his side as well.
Yeah, it definitely is. And when is GuMiho actually going to be able to get out there and do something against this growth? Because he doesn't have like a full composition, right? Like he's going to have 1/1 Stim Marines with some medevacs. But what else? Like how many, you know, what do we have for tanks? We have, yeah, okay, a few random tech units here that he's been utilizing.
Is this enough damage? He does take out a decent amount of those Marines here, but certainly a bit of a trade here. 18 more lings on the way. We're only seeing lings being used for the time being.
Yeah, a lot of lings being made right now. That Baneling speed is going to be finishing up.
And I would assume from here he simply put wants to smother that third base location with Ling Bane, force liftoffs, take out core parts of the units, and take out SCVs.
Infestation Pit coming up.
Now there's a small force moving out here towards the very top left corner of the map. And obviously the Lings saw it, so you know, this should cue Dark into just getting ready to defend this. So I don't think we're going to see much of this. I'm also not sure where the other targets will be if he's forced to pick up, because with medevacs there, it's not really about the initial target. It's more so about you know, where else can he kind of combo into different base hits and try to move along here. Until we have a Spire done, there's really no way to contest the medevac movement.
Yeah, and he's not going for the Spire, really.
Yeah.
Right. This is just the heavy Ling Bane. He did get a macro hatch in the main base even for that, where he is getting it now, as well as taking that additional base. And I mean, this is so macro heavy. Dark is just looking really good. I think this was even a very good choice to do against GuMiho right now. But GuMiho is actually adding 2 factories right now, also getting that armor upgrade. So is he going to be going into like lots of mines? Are we going to be seeing siege tanks added in? I'm honestly not that sure.
Yeah, I'm curious about this as well. Looks like whoa, does
like,
not get that. That's crazy that medevac gets away.
I feel like we see 2 factory mines against this style a decent amount, but 3 factory is not something that comes to mind.
Well, you know, this is GuMiho. He does tend to lean a little bit into factory production over barracks production.
Yeah, so that might be like kind of an interesting thing that changes the course of the game a little bit. Can GuMiho start to gain extra value out of factory units?
Seems like Dark has grown into his side of the map. With the 4th base being taken down here at the very bottom center, I'm curious to see if Dark can start to hit those locations as well. I don't think GuMiho's done a bad job doing what he needs to do, but it's undeniable that Dark has grown at a pretty insane rate here.
Yeah.
He's almost taken all of the bases on his top side of the map. And, you know, once he feels like he's basically grown into his side, it's going to be the Terran on the defense right now. And GuMiho, although he's come out on the map, he's had no major tactical victories.
Yeah.
He hasn't killed a hatchery. He hasn't killed any tech. He's basically been swatted away anytime he comes out here. And that makes me worried for him, because when you get Dark into a position like this, it's very rare that he falters.
Well, GuMiho hasn't thrown an army away, which I think is incredibly important, especially considering we just started a 4th factory tasteless. He's getting a 2nd armory as well. So I think we're actually watching a bio that has 2/2 opener with maybe a transition into mech, but maybe a half and half type of composition, which is, this is a very rare type of play, I think. Like, and I'm not entirely sure what we're going to see, because I just saw him making mines and tanks. Is he going to switch over into pure tank to try to deal with these lurkers? It's honestly, it's hard to say, but it's definitely a GuMiho special here.
Yeah, GuMiho coming in now, is forced to pick up. Not that many Banelings on the low ground here, but he's got another force over here on the right, and he's basically trying to find some area of weakness. The issue is that both these areas he's going for, the other one that we saw earlier and this one, are very well defended. I don't know what to just say. I thought he was going to pick that up to the point where I didn't even play-by-play it until the Banes connected and wiped out more than half the Marines. But yeah, Dark's defense is pretty on point, including in his main, which a lot of times is the Achilles heel, where you just take a bunch of medevacs and fly in there if there's nowhere else to go and hit. But he's got Queens, he's got Spores there. I mean, he's pretty much sealed off.
Yeah, Dark's defense looks very, very good. But, you know, GuMiho is still on the fringes. He's, like, kind of keeping tabs, kind of keeping Dark honest, although I'm not sure that we can really call this many bases and 89 drones honest. He's got what he wants, you know? It's not like he's really being slowed at the moment, but GuMiho is adding, like, he just added another factory. So I believe we're on 5 factory now, adding a ton of command centers. We're getting Blue Flame, double armory upgrades for mech, still getting +3 attack for the bio. This is cool, man. I'm excited for whatever GuMiho is going to show us.
It is pretty wild that we're seeing him, Dark, do this, though, without even any Mutalisks at all. Like,
Yeah.
You would just think that these medevacs would find more places to go, but they really can't. But I agree with what you're saying as well, in that GuMiho's doing a great job. He's holding his own. I'm a little bit worried he's not quite as quick as some of our other Terran players to scoop up the infantry when the Banes come in.
Yeah, he definitely is not, but that's not his skill set.
True.
His skill set is in making 5 factories randomly at this late point of the game, right? Like, he's going to be doing something a little bit different from what other people's do. Look, oh my God, he got Neo Steel frames.
That's so funny.
Amazing.
Here comes a Nidus network, though.
All right, dude, this is cool. I'm like wiggly with anticipation on what we're going to end up seeing. Now, Lings and Banes being added in by Dark. He's continuing to upgrade. He does have that +3 melee. So Baneling's going to be pretty damn dangerous. Getting his Lurker upgrades, kind of finishing that off, getting a Spire now. The economies are getting big, so he's kind of finishing the to-do list.
Okay, another big attack comes down here. You know, Dark playing the way that he has it been too passive? I'm not totally sure. It looks like this attack is going to be able to breach this area 100%, overwhelm the tanks. The Banes connect onto the SCVs, and they just spill even further forward over here onto where all the rest of the tanks are. It was funny, as I was saying, as Dark been too passive, that's the moment he finally actually pulls the trigger and starts to force these bases away.
Look at this, 108 Lings in production. This is the most Dark-esque thing.
And the Spire is only halfway done now at the 15-minute marker.
Well, this is so Dark. This is actually, he was like the first one to start doing this a few years ago, where it's like, okay, I have my economy. Now let's make 90 Banelings to see if I can hit the back of your base.
Yeah.
You know,
it's... Well, you know, it's not always cost efficient to make just Banelings and Lings, but what happens is that you can have such momentum economically that you could basically gas dump into Banelings like 3 or 4 times, and the Terran doesn't have any kind of recovery process built in that's as quick as you know how many Banelings can be made. And so we're seeing just this overwhelming amount, along with blinding clouds here as well, as you know, Dark is basically surveying the area, deciding where the Banelings are going to go next. And you weren't kidding when you talked about going into the starting location, Artosis. We're almost at that point as well.
No, this is something he has done before. He started doing this a few years ago, where if he gets into this type of economy, he will. It's almost like he just attack moves the bottom left corner. He's just like, all right, let's go. It's you know, I just look his production tab again, over 100 Lings
and
once again.
In the process, you're basically hollowing out the Terran's base. You know, they still have a lot of their buildings, their command centers aren't destroyed, but then you look inside and it's a ghost town.
Yeah.
The tanks are gone, the SCVs have been wiped out, and you do this a couple times, and you know the Terran is you know, barely alive in the game, and then you can make a couple strategic decisions on how to do the takedown there. So we're going to be in wave number 3, almost 50 Banelings about to hatch.
Yeah. Well, GuMiho, I think, if he wises up to exactly what's going on, I think he has potential to fight back against us. He has enough factories that he could go, like, mine siege tank, and that's going to make it very hard to get through this, but we're seeing just these medium and small amounts of siege tanks try to hold on, which obviously is not going to occur.
Oh
that
my
planetary going down in a matter of seconds.
I wondered if he was going to commit the Banes onto the planetary or look for juicier targets, but he's apparently fine buying his way through.
Yeah.
Taking out that base.
Well, that was not very efficient, what we just saw there.
No, that was extremely extremely cost inefficient, but then when you look at it big picture, Terran's on 4 bases. And so the 5th has been wiped out.
I can't even count how many bases Dark is on. It's so many bases.
Yeah, he's on...
He's like mining from destructible rocks. That's how many bases he has.
If he takes this center left base, I guess that's pretty much all the bases he could take. I guess in theory he could maybe try to squeeze into that upper bottom right base.
Yeah,
but that would really, I mean, by then it's like, well, the game's already over. You know, if Terran can't stop that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Dark has done this very effectively.
Dark's gas, though, is...
Use the most primitive defense there is into the late game, which is just Ling Bane, Queen, Spore, to basically not let Medivacs come in. He's not going to spend gas on mutas. It's primitive, man. He's beating them back with sticks and rocks.
Yeah.
But then what happens is that then he has so much gas and so many Lings that he can kind of just... like a campaign mission in the game, like, oh, the Zergs are here. Like, they just run over. There's like endless streams of them, and Terran are trying to leave the planet when they're, I don't know, the battlecruiser or whatever. So Kerrigan shows up and's got a speech. Kerrigan shows up on a screen, and that means that there has to be an infested cameraman filming this with a production crew, which is all I can think about.
Yeah.
All right, Kerrigan, you're going to be in Jim Raynor's spaceship in 5.
Well,
4,
look, she has
3.
infested high heels, so, like,
She
it's
does,
doable, okay?
And she's got all this stuff planned out. She's like, I'm here, Jim Raynor. And she maybe messes it up. She over-rehearsed it, you know? I had a lot more zingers I was going to say to Jim Raynor, but, you know, I got a little camera shy. Here we go again. And just obliterating the workers, taking out the command center. And again, this isn't cost efficient, but, you know, when you're, you know, beyond rich, like Dark is, like Dark just did all that.
118 Lings.
Yeah, 118 Lings. And look at the minerals, look at the gas. I mean, he can remake all these into Banes over and over again. Now, GuMiho, I think in a bit of desperation, but maybe there's an opportunity here, has unsieged and is going to try to take his army and drive it like a stake through the heart of everything that Dark has. The problem is that this is such a jungle of creep to get through. And again, I mean, just like, what is this, like going to be the 6th wave of Banelings we've had? This can just as easily be wiped out by Ling Bane as well.
Yeah.
And this is really what we call, you know, letting the Zerg or the macro player, the person who has that role in the game, get out of hand. When people say, how do you stop mass Ling Baneling? I mean, the answer is really like, well, how do we end up here? I mean, certainly Terran should be trying to do more to stop this early on, and that's really what's happened, is that you have a completely unleashed Zerg that has all the resources that they can basically get in the game. And by the way, Zerg did take that bottom right base, Artosis, I was talking about.
Yeah. Dude, I want to see the efficiency tab so badly right now. I just want to see what it looks like, because Dark has mined so much more than GuMiho. But, like, God, I wish that we could just get the observer to click on that, you know, and just see what the unit's loss looks like. How many hundreds of Banelings have gone into these planetaries and siege tanks, never to return?
The Vikings are going to come down here, and he's going to get the snipe on that hatchery. That was weird, because I thought he was going to maybe fight a little bit more.
Well, it's hard to stop the Viking drop, right?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm not sure about the bottom center base as far as how many minerals are there. The tempo for how much has been mined on the Terran side of things is a little bit unclear to me, because we basically had the Terran hollowed out so many times over. And it's not going to stop. Another major attack comes in here. So many Lings coming here from the right. Not exactly the most coordinated engagement.
No.
It seems like there was definitely some spare units there on the side. You know, and Dark, although we've been basically talking about how Dark is unstoppable this game, I do want to point out, you know, if the game goes on long enough, Zerg is mined out and does not have anywhere near the kind of...
I mean, when you're trading, like, inefficiently, you're trying to kill someone with purely, like, Ling Bane, a lot of times that is not efficient, but...
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like a tempo-based victory. It's a little bit playing with fire, because if they weather the storm, it's like they definitely have more on their side, and you haven't really gained value overall, because they will eventually just mine as much as you. But as is, Dark continues to come forward, throwing down some transfusions. We do have a few lurkers mixed in at this point.
I think we're near the end here, because I don't think the Terran can pump back up supply in the way that you need. And,
Yeah, he's just a little bit off of what he needs, I think, to hold on. just had a bit more economy, maybe you could do it. I love it. Lurkers just instantly pop out.
The
pop
lurkers,
forward,
it
pop
looked like
down.
a dolphin popping out of water and then going back in just a little bit further forward.
Yep. Oh, God.
All right. Mutas do not exist. But if they did, we'd lose these units in the air as well.
Yeah, but
This
if you
is
make
like the
mutas,
floor
you
is
can't afford
lava.
this many banelings, man.
GG.
Ah, we never got to see that efficiency. Oh, wait, no, I think he had it in the bottom right there. Damn.
Damn, damn, damn. Damn, damn, damn. All right, Dark.
Well, okay, so Dark ends up winning that, but I think it's hard for GuMiho to even practice against that because you almost have to play Dark. Not that many Zergs really do that. Rogue does similar stuff to that sometimes, but I think that GuMiho, if he plays against that specific type of style again, can do much better against it. Because by the end, he started getting more and more and more efficient. So I think he's figuring things out. The series ain't over, Tasus. This is a best of 5. It's not a best of 1, Tasus. I wish you'd just be on my page with this.
I wish you just cut that out, Tasteless.
Cut it out.
We're going to
It's
go
not
to
over.
Game 2. Dark, can he be stopped? Let's find out, because right now it's not looking like anybody can touch him in this matchup.
Game start. Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Dark.
Dog map, I forgot. This is the dog map.
Get your dogs ready.
Get your, this is, you don't need to have your dog on a leash on this map.
GuMiho.
Dog park.
Dog park map. Gonna be a problem. The two dogs are gonna see each other. The little one's gonna get bit.
That would be a cool map, a dog park map, where there's like a little pen in the center that has like a bunch of dogs in it,
Yeah.
and you can like kill rocks to get through the center, but then the dogs are loose and they go all over the map.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I like that.
And for doodads, you can have little stations where they give you poop bags and stuff. Little thing where you give your dog some water, one of those little water fountains for dogs.
That's right. They've got one of those pet shops where you can get like wine for dogs or whatever it is. Or is it beer?
Funny that you would say that, Tasteless, because
I know. I'm thinking wine for cats is the one that. Or do they have that for dogs
dude,
too? It's not real
beer,
alcohol.
and they have soju for dogs.
For dogs, yeah.
Yeah, there's like a gourmet pet treat shop right down the street, and my daughter is in love with this shop.
Oh yeah.
Like loves going down there and seeing what they have, and so. My dog Rusty the other day had some dog beer.
What is in the dog beer?
I don't know.
Like,
it's like, I think it's like maybe like chicken broth or something, because I smelt it. I'm like, and she was like, "Does it smell like beer?" I'm like, well, I wouldn't know that. I'm very straight.
Like, listen, Dan drank 6 of these last night and nothing happened, and he's really embarrassing.
Yeah, no, it doesn't smell like beer at all. But,
Dan tried to party on his own last night. It was very embarrassing. Wait a minute.
The dog went shot for shot with me, and, you know.
Okay, another Roach Warren. This is the
Again.
same opener that happened last time.
Okay, yeah.
Complete
here come the
with
lings.
6 lings coming in here. Now there's no wall-in.
Yeah, he's
I
getting
guess there
it
wasn't a
out
wall-in
now.
last time. He got in there.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, with an add-on coming on here, I don't know. This could actually be pretty bad.
The Marines will be popping out. Like, I mean, I think he'll hold. I think it'll be similar to last time. Lose like 2 to 3 SCVs. Dark might turn around though.
Yeah, it might be worth it to not commit to the SCVs once the Marines get there, and instead save them for when the Roaches are there.
Yeah, he only gets 1.
Oh,
So that's not.
5 of them.
This is totally fine. Now, a Hellion being made. Roaches are being made. That's a little bit rough.
Yeah, not a good trade there for Dark. Oh, that's a mistake. Yeah, it looks like he actually fished out the lings, so he takes out those 3. And again, this is all very important when you have a very small number of units. And there's not more committed to this. It's actually drones being made behind this.
All right, he's going to go up the ramp. SCV being pulled out of the natural here as well. Repair that Hellion right away. I mean, his damage output's a lot higher than a single Marauder like we saw before. Yeah, target that. Target it. All right. Gets the Morphing Ravager, so that's nice. It's not that many.
Oh, could he get this one back and morph this one into a Ravager? Nicely done.
Yeah.
It's important that Terran controls this perfectly because the damage really does stack, forcing the SCVs to be pulled. Oh, that. Oh, God.
Good
Okay,
split.
Gets one. Another Ravager here.
Let's see if he actually ends up getting a similar amount.
Oh,
5
that's
so
funny.
far.
He blocks that Ravager in. Oh, there's
the
a third
SCV
Ravager.
death count is really starting to go
Yeah,
up.
and this Ravager just gets far enough away. I think he's bought enough time. Oh, that was sick. That was really good by him. GG, he taps out.
That's rough. That's... Okay, so Dark using literally exactly the same thing. GuMiho having an even harder time blocking it here.
That was the StarCraft 2 version of Dark dropping GuMiho, power bombing him through a table.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Okay, so I do want to point out GuMiho actually had superior control early on, especially when he got those 6 lings. But things fell apart pretty fast. And pulling that last Roach away, not the last one, I guess it was like the third Roach or whatever that was left, got pulled away and morphed into a Ravager. Dude, it's a lot of extra damage. Once that thing finishes, it's like, you know, it gets full HP, it comes back. It is a kiteable, macroable unit. And when we saw that, the combination of the last Marine shot and then that Bile connecting on, I think it was like 7 SCVs stacked or something like that, was just huge.
All right, Dark lead in 2-0, Tasteless.
Lava map time.
All right,
Let's go to the lava map. Don't touch it, it's hot.
Game start. Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Dark. Storm Gaming. GuMiho.
Towel Terran.
He's not even going to need to use the towel if he doesn't.
You might have to throw the
play
towel
a bit
in
stronger
here.
here.
Yeah. There is something to the fact that Dark opened up with that build twice, which is, you know, in theory, probably not the best way to play a best of 5, but there's something.
The best macro opener in the whole world. That's
just,
for sure.
Usually that's something you pull out to catch them off guard and try to get control of the game and control the tempo.
Well, that's like sometimes that's the best way to catch someone off guard is to do something like that twice.
But I would be blown away if he did it a third time, because if he does it 3 times in a row, now it's a statement.
Yeah. Well, you know, honestly, I mean, stuff like that works in competitive gaming sometimes. You know, like Street Fighter, you throw someone 3-4 times in a row.
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
well, no one would do that.
This isn't
like,
the way. This isn't the way you're supposed to play. You can't just throw me. But I just want to say, you know, GuMiho was a powerhouse, you know, a few years ago, and Dark is in, you know, some of the best shape of his whole career. But there is some dominance plays we see here when these guys come back, where somebody who's really been established for a while wants to really send a reminder to this guy, like, this is what it's like. I can actually do whatever I want versus you. And no matter, you know, I can do the same thing over and over, and no matter what happens, you can't stop it.
That is quite a statement if that's what's going on here,
I just want to watch for it. Might not happen.
I'd like to see it now that you've worded it like that. Dark hates GuMiho.
They used to be friends, guys. They're not anymore.
No, not anymore. Dark hates everyone who's gone to the military and come back. It's really weird because he's going to have to do that one day too.
Okay, third hatch comes down over here.
It's not a Roach Horn.
Yeah. How's he going to build a Roach Horn where there's no creep? Oh, no. My buildup was wrong.
If he loses here, though, he's got to do a game 4 for the win.
That's true. We throw it out.
Quick Overlord speed. Okay, I don't mind this at all, actually, from Dark. I think that's pretty smart.
Well, I think especially against GuMiho, who he's predictably unpredictable.
Yeah.
But, you know, just
you're
because
going to get your value from this almost always.
Yeah. If GuMiho's a player where if you're good enough, I think if you had hacks, you'd be like, okay, I got it. I know what he's doing now. I get it.
Yeah.
But, you know, Overlord speed, I think, is a pretty wise call. There is the possibility this is another 3-0, by the way.
Yeah, well, it even seems likely at this point.
Yeah, we're kind of barreling through the first half of games. I hope it's not. I want to see GuMiho come back. I'd love to go to a game 5 even, but right now Dark is really looking untouchable. We do have the Roach Warren coming down. Almost said Woach Warren, like a Almost Elmer fudded the cast. But, yeah, let's see where exactly this game's going to go.
The cloaked Banshee coming out. That's gonna, well, I mean, you're not gonna die if you go for a cloaked Banshee, right? You'll basically hold on against anything. In comes the Scouting Overlord. Do you continue the cloak? That's quite the question. And yeah, it looks like he cancels both the Banshee and the cloak, right? Or did he let the Banshee pop? Okay, he actually just cancels. So going into Stim, it looks like just a regular bio opener. Definitely that Overlord speed doing something for you here as Dark.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a bit uncomfortable here for GuMiho being, he's going to identify Dark as that this is coming, and it's like Dark is already very good against this, so.
He's getting those spores, which aren't going to be all that useful. A few Hellions out on the map.
And, you know, the question is going to be, although, you know, we think about GuMiho as doing all these kind of alternative comps and different timings here, this is looking like Innovation's playing, basically. Like, you've got 2 engineering bases coming in. And, by the way, seeing the engineering base as well, I mean, this couldn't be going better for Dark. I mean, Dark has the information he needs.
Now, to be fair, Tasteless, if we look at game 1, like, GuMiho took that damage early on.
Yeah.
But then he didn't do much with Bio. You're definitely right. He wasn't as quick as other players. He wasn't really getting damage done, but he did that transition into mech a little bit later, or like the partial mech. It felt like a 1/3 mech, 2/3 Bio for a long time. And then he got into the ghost and everything. And I mean, Dark did run him over, but this was a better opener for GuMiho than that game. Maybe it's like GuMiho is just, as far as Bio goes, yeah, I don't think he's like an innovation level player or a Maru level player where when they're going by, you're like, okay, I might die, I might die, I might die. I don't think there's very much of a chance that Dark is going to die to GuMiho doing a timing bio push, but maybe that late game is where he can, you know, come back, get the value out, show, you know, where his strengths are.
You could be right. I mean, fingers crossed that that's actually going to be the case. I mean, this is an uninterrupted, basically untouched GuMiho here in Game 3. So
same for Dark, though.
Yeah, that's the issue. And so we've got the push coming across the map. Now with the 2 medevacs, this doesn't signal any kind of a commitment here. But let's see what he tries to go for. He's going to need to put this tank pretty far back. Assuming he does decide to siege, he might be trying to, you know, bait Dark into coming out, but Dark's being pretty patient. He's just staying back and waiting.
Getting that Hydralisk Den right now.
Oh.
I'm not sure what this is even supposed to do. It's almost just like a scout, you know? Like, never at this timestamp would that little army do anything against any composition.
I think he wants to see if he can snipe a queen or something. You saw this moment where he stimmed in and then, like, kind of looked around and realized there's nothing he can really hit. So he backs up.
Yeah, just looking to pick anything.
There are these moments where you basically can't hurt each other, but you might as well try to be active and see if you can find something. Like, if he had sniped that queen, that'd be good. But yeah. Right now, basically, both sides are you know,
and you still have to creep a little bit like that anyways.
Yeah.
They can't just throw the tumors out at any moment. They have to push you back first.
Yeah, and pushing creep back, you know, it can seem like it's not a big deal, but, you know, when you see a whole map covered in creep and you realize the Terran never is able to get anywhere in the game, and the Zerg has, you know, almost full vision of the map, you know, it makes a lot of sense. So, over here in the north, we have another attack coming in here.
Yeah, the multi-prong from GuMiho is actually kind of nice. I see these Roaches and Ravagers going back and forth. He can't really decide where he wants to defend.
He's got a pretty good spread. I think if he can push the creep back a little bit further, with the 2 creep tumors at the top of the screen now, if he can clear that out, he can start to set up tanks that are far back enough. It's not going to be easy to go through these bottlenecks, even with Ravagers, and try to pick off the tanks. So the rocks have been destroyed there to open that area more, in case Zerg does want to spill down there. Oh, man!
Ooh.
That was close.
Yeah, quick pickup right there. 2-2 is on the way here for GuMiho. Have the Hive finishing up. Lurker Den just finished as well for Dark.
Oh!
Nice files there.
Yeah, but Terran fights back pretty well.
Yeah.
Guns down some Ravagers in the process. More Roaches, more Lings coming in here.
Yeah, GuMiho's push is becoming a little bit more serious right now, rallying quite a bit. Dark pushing forward now. Throws down those biles, doesn't really connect.
Yeah, some more biles are coming down now. And GuMiho seems to think he can force this fight.
Yeah,
The question is this actually enough? I guess it's barely not when the Lings come in, assuming they can get to the other side, but
yeah, especially that extra group of roaches coming, he's just got to back up.
I thought for a second maybe GuMiho knew something else, you know, that thought maybe we could take this, but it seems like he tried to commit and kind of fed into the plans here of Dark, and now Dark has the liberty of trying to put some counter pressure on here. You know, when you force the units in the medevacs and they have to pick up, now you have no control over the Zerg's ground game anymore. And so it's going to be an opportunity there for the Zerg to reposition now. Dark decided to not go for more aggression, but instead to go back here and try to continue to power up.
Now, this is the part of the game that I'm excited for right now. GuMiho, his 2-2 is finishing up. He's adding a factory. We see a couple Liberators coming up, an additional command center, so that's all good stuff. But is he going to go crazy on the factories again? Is he going to go, like, 2 factory? That's standard right now. Like, you're always going to see that. But with GuMiho, will we see more? The Liberators, are they for harassment? Are they just going to come up and try to help his push? It's hard to say.
Yeah, GuMiho, again, this whole game has been centered around this low ground from the Terran, the high ground for the Zerg. Lurkers are now in position, caging the Terran out. Siege tanks too far back. Is he going to inch them forward here and try to take a fight? In the meanwhile, you know, there's the ability for the Ravagers to take some pot shots. I think Zerg doesn't want to engage us until the last second. Terran pulls the trigger and comes in.
Well, I don't know, with those Lurkers there, plus that much on top of them, you're not going to break that with this army.
Seems like Terran's almost running into a blender here, and when Dark smells weakness, he decides to dive from above, wiping out more, and then pulling back away, and these Lurkers are still here. In fact, the Lurkers are now going to push in. The tanks harpooned. The position from GuMiho is gone.
Yeah, it was a little bit too hard on the pushing. Like, he was very Marauder heavy. He had those siege tanks, but with that much Roach Ravager Queen on top of some Lurkers, that you're just not able to break it. But you know what? Like, GuMiho's got some decent things going for him, right? He's got a very solid SCV count. He's got solid upgrades so far, better upgrades than Dark at least. His 4th base is now up, and with 77 SCVs, not going to be hard to mine from that. Let's see what his next plan is, because, I mean, we're getting into a heavier and heavier Lurker defense. There's 13 Lurkers on the map right now.
Yeah,
and that's going to be something that, like, you need to go above and beyond Marauder Marine 1 siege tank pushes.
Well, it's also hard to force fights when Lurkers are there, right? You can't kind of barbarian club your way through a bunch of Lurkers. You know, things get obliterated very quickly. It's really the Zerg's moment to kind of utilize siege weapons, even if it's in a defensive setting. And, you know, GuMiho is kind of comfortably sitting on his 4 bases, but I think any 5th base he tries to take is going to be in jeopardy. And I wouldn't be surprised if Dark is basically banking on that. You know, the game's going to go on long enough. Eventually, the resources on the map are going to dry up. And that's why we're seeing Dark basically destroy all these rocks on the ramps. He wants full circulation, the ability to counterattack, the ability to hit anywhere. And he's actually going to just roam right up here, and he takes out that 5th base command center that was, not morphing, it was building over there.
It was warping in.
It was warping in.
The Lurkers come up. A little dive bomb here, and actually spreads it out over the Lurkers, scans and kills that off. He's going to be able to get this hatch, I think.
Yeah, this drop's actually like way better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, this is pretty fantastic. I think he's going to hold on against the push over here as well. It seems like he has enough there. I'm not really afraid of that killing him. But not a lot of good targeting going on here. Unfortunately, he could have gotten that if we had a bit more micro.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised by the decision for Dark to attack into the Terran, because that's the only way that GuMiho is going to have an opportunity like the one that we're seeing now. And this is quite a bit of damage that's being dealt. You know, you were mentioning earlier, obviously it's better if he kills the hatchery. Maybe he can get that on the way back through here. No.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it, unfortunately. So the hatchery is going to live. He has transfused it at least a little bit. We got that dog whistle swarm host out now.
And, yeah, for all the engagements on the Zerg side of the map, I think we're getting to the point here. Terran is going to need a 5th base eventually. The creep has been pushed back, especially in the center, pretty nicely, and honestly, Dark hasn't really remade that creep that well. That is going to be important for later on.
I gotta say, I'm a little bit nervous right now for GuMiho sitting on 4 base. He really should have a 5th right now.
Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it?
Like his 3rd is starting to get pretty light, I think, and Dark continues to expand. His creep spread is not as good as it was. GuMiho has done a good job of pushing a lot of that back. The bottom right, though, actually has a really decent amount of creep, and it seems like most of the action for Dark is focused a little bit more towards the top left, so it's hard to break any position here for GuMiho.
So, I mean, we wait now, basically. You know, GuMiho is close to maxing out again. It does... Ooh, those are actually a lot of kills on that. It does just seem to me like what you were saying, and what I was even mentioning even earlier than that. It's like, yeah, there's no 5th base, and I don't see one being taken here. And, you know, Dark, kind of like game 1, can keep growing into spots on the map. Terran kills that, that's great. You know, one of these bases, like we almost saw killed off earlier. But the problem is that you don't have any staying power as a Terran against a Zerg if you're not able to at least almost match their bases, like we see Maru do, where the game gets stretched out and it really does come down to like the base at the top left and the base at the bottom right of the map.
Yeah.
Games like that. It doesn't seem like GuMiho is overall macro-wise competitive here against Dark. So for as much as we break down the fights and the engages and everything, I mean, there is a growth issue over here for GuMiho that I just don't see addressed. And all that needs to happen now for Dark is 1 or 2 fights. You know, the armies are traded off, and suddenly it's the Terran without much that could be remade, and the Zerg is already remaxing and getting ready for another attack.
Well, I do want to mention also, if you take a look, like GuMiho's finishing up a lot of upgrades, and they've actually both got about the same amount of bank. They both are maxed out, similar amounts of workers. So yeah, GuMiho, like, he's down bases right now, but for right now, he's doing well. And I think if Dark gets over-aggressive with some of these lurkers against the 3-at-a-time siege tank production that we've been seeing for a little bit, maybe that's how GuMiho can actually start to gain a lead, right? If Dark gets wasteful, because he doesn't have that gigantic bank we see sometimes.
Dark playing a pretty conservative game from here on out. I mean, he doesn't really have to do that much.
Watching a single lurker just walk up.
Lurker
There's
versus
something
turret.
funny about it.
Yeah.
Just one lurker goes across the
solid
map.
snake lurker coming across the map.
It's just a throwaway there.
We are seeing a greater spire come down here. A lot of command centers are being made everywhere and turned into orbitals. And this is, I don't know, man. I feel like GuMiho's been really passive, but I guess because of the way the mid game went, you can't do much more, right?
Yeah, I think he can't, but he's been working on his composition. You see him continually adding tanks in here, more and more command centers, getting another armory, so he's going to continue those mech-based upgrades. Of course, all the upgrades coming along for Dark as well, getting those adrenals, +2 melee, pathogen glands.
And where is he going to try to hit? It's interesting to see GuMiho also end up so passive here. He's going to come in here now. Now, the tanks are very well positioned. Is there enough to spill through? It doesn't seem like there's any Marines here really covering this. And obviously, this army is much more complex than what we had in Game 1, but it's a lot of the same ideas. You can trade inefficiently, come in and obliterate positions, and since these aren't Banes, you can even go back out again, and basically stop Terran from mining. The 2 bases that will mine out last, the very last one will be the one at the 3 o'clock spot. The other one will be at the 12 o'clock spot. Terran's had the top base at 12 for a while now.
Yeah.
And, you know, via the passivity here from GuMiho, Dark is really in a position where he's been untouched. I mean, I think the only other base he might be able to take would be in the bottom right. I think you're getting dangerously close to the Terran, but there's nothing really, I think, to easily stop this ridiculous amount of lurkers and everything else from coming into the center right position, wiping that, pulling back out. Now, this is an even tougher position to tanks. Oh, well, they were in a great spot in siege mode. They're not anymore.
You know, GuMiho, I think, is still playing pretty well. Like, he's zoning out all of these attacks reasonably well, but is he going to continue to be able to grow? He is expanding more in the bottom right. Dark, though, seesawing it back to that 12 o'clock base. Not as important this location for GuMiho, but everything is important to some degree. And if he loses this foothold, top left's going to fall to Dark as well.
Yeah, he just goes in for an easier angle. And the SCVs, I didn't even notice these were up here until the Banes connected. About 20 were up there and were picked off with ease. And he's just going to move the lurkers back out when it's time.
Leaves a few there for now. Gonna go up in siege. Vikings going to start picking on these overseers a little bit. But yeah, that area, I like that Dark is focusing on there and then swinging it back and forth, right? Like now he'll come down, poke this area if it gets defended. Maybe he hits 12 o'clock again. That's just freeing up his top left bases.
Yeah, and I think almost a premature burrow here. He can easily wipe out this planetary. I don't know if he's going to go further forward here. Now he's going to bum rush the tanks because if Terran's not absolutely paying attention here, there's just nothing. So funny they attacked the SCV for a second. If Terran's not paying attention, it's the funny, kind of like the first week you ever had StarCraft and you learned that, you know, tanks on their own aren't good.
Yeah.
GG, Dark takes that. In, again, a kind of dominating fashion. I mean, Dark is clearly in a different league from GuMiho. GuMiho looked good. I'm a little bit disappointed in Game 3 to see that he really wasn't able to find anything, do anything, versus Dark kind of got to a point where he tried to put on some pressure, then just stayed back and let Dark, you know, take over the map.
Yeah, I think he overcommitted a little bit on that Marauder tank push against the initial lurkers, and that was unfortunate. The thing is, he doesn't look bad. Dark is one of the very best players in the whole world.
Sure.
So I think GuMiho is coming back. I like some of his ideas for some of these later game mech builds, but yeah, I guess we'll see what he's got in GSL Code S Season 1 this year.
We're going to go to an interview now with Dark. Andy, go ahead.
Match 2 of the second day is also a 3-0 win. Dark defeats GuMiho and he moves on to the round of 8. Alright, we're going to have an interview with Dark of Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Congratulations, Dark. Thank you. So this is your second consecutive advancement to the Super Tournament round of 8. How do you feel? Well, round of 8 is the round that I just have to go no matter what. So I'm not really overly happy. So I'm really focusing on my next round. Well, that was a much anticipated game against GuMiho. So you went for the Link Banes 3 times in a row. And Dark, you showed great endurance in the last game as well. Well, I felt like today it's going to be a fierce battle of wits, paper, scissors, rock game. So, you know, for me, today it was a comfortable game. So you're saying GuMiho's playstyle was easy to deal with for you. So you did start off the game poor in terms of resources because you were aware of the enemy's battlecruisers, but that didn't come out. So a 3-0 victory for you. What do you want to say to your opponent? Well, today it didn't feel like GuMiho's usual playstyle. You know, he did come here overly standard. I expected something more. But you know, he didn't go for more orthodox style, which was quite fortunate for me. Really. Your next opponent will be ByuN. And you know, last year you beat ByuN several times in foreign tournaments and domestic tournaments. You know, again, it's a bit of a mind game against ByuN. So you know, it's always kind of irritating playing against ByuN because he plays quite in a dirty style. So you know, I'm gonna have a fierce paper scissors rock game with him. So ByuN, let's take a look at your 2021 year. So you had some very valuable accomplishments on that year. And you've had a long relationship with Maru and Rogue as well. So how do you want to spend this year of 2022? Well, last year I didn't have satisfactory results in my standard. You know, I can truly say that I won if I beat Rogue and Maru. So this Super Tournament, I hope the brackets turn out well for me. So hopefully I can beat, I can play against them in the round of 8 and round of 4, and eventually meet them in the finals too, if possible. You know, my ultimate goal is to beat Maru and lift the trophy of this super tournament.
IM 카토비체 가시잖아요.
So you're going to IM Katowice.
조성주 선수 말로는 이번에 저그가 우승할 것 같다.
So according to Maru, he says the Zerg is going to lift the trophy. So what do you think about that?
저그가 우승할 것 같다라고 얘기하는 거는 저그전이 좀 자신 있다.
You know, the reason why Maru says that is because he's confident in the TVZ matchup. I know him so well.
그 종족전이 일단 좀 완벽하게
So I know him
있다.
when he says that.
그런 느낌인 것 같아요.
아, 그렇게 받아들이면 되는 거군요. 작년 말에 영장이 날아와서 멘탈에 충격을
So
받았다
last year,
이야기하시는데
you were,
지금은 심적으로 힘든
You
부분
got
없으세요?
the call from the military. So
그 말씀하셔가지고
how are you
갑자기
feeling right now?
아 미안해요.
You know, I'm just a little depressed because you mentioned that.
딱히 뭐 심적으로는 힘들진 않았고요.
You know, mentally, I'm not too shaken.
뭐 그냥 저랑 일단 카토비체가 남아있기 때문에.
I mean, I have Katowice left, so I'm just focusing on that entirely right now.
마지막으로 GSL 시청자분들께
Okay,
박명우
before
선수
you go,
마지막 한마디
Dark,
해주시죠.
so anything you want to say to your GSL fans?
우선 뭐 일단 뭐 오늘 생각보다 좀 길어져가지고.
Well, today the games lasted longer than I expected, so I'm not good at late games.
잘안 되더라고요. 손도
You know, things were not going too well for me. You know, my fingers were still kind of frozen because the weather's so cold.
명경기, 재밌는
So in the next round, I hope to deliver some better performance.
다시 한번 축하드립니다.
Once again, congratulations on your advancement, Dark. Thank you.
자, 이렇게 8강 진출자 박명우 선수 만나봤는데요. 다음 경기
Two short series, Artosis. Coming up next, guys, Solar versus Creator. We're going to have a short little break, and when we come back, the second half of the day. Don't go away.